Well, thank you. It's amazing what a bar of soap, not DMT, will do for my complexion.
Oh
So,
boy.
I appreciate being here. High at Nine News. Good morning, High at Nine News viewers. Monday, November 27th, going into MJ Biz. And I got a great article to share with you in the annals of, or I should say, the annals of more litigation related to cannabis. So, my article, without further ado, Grey's Anatomy actors sue Connecticut School Board and others after pot-laced candy left on bus sickens son. Grey's Anatomy actors Scott Foley and Marika, sorry, it looked a little Polish and had a lot of extra consonants, filed lawsuit against school board, bus driver, and the bus company. Two actors from Grey's Anatomy, along with another parent, filed a lawsuit against the school and bus company after their child and a friend were allegedly hospitalized for ingesting a cannabis-laced candy that was left on their school bus. Grey's Anatomy actors Scott Foley and Marika Domazinchik, who are now married, filed the lawsuit with another parent after their son and a friend took the school bus home on December 12th, 2022, and ate a bag of candy that was apparently left by another student but was laced with THC, according to Fox. The lawsuit was filed against the Westport, Connecticut Board of Education, Board Chairman Lee Goldstein, Superintendent Thomas Scarassi, School Bus Company, DATCO Inc., DATCO President David Devio, as well as the bus driver. According to the lawsuit, a police investigation discovered the bag was left by a 15-year-old high school student who was on the bus before the elementary school kids. Two children complained to the couple's nanny after about an hour after ingesting the laced chocolate that they were feeling dizzy, confused, and had stomach issues. The lawsuit states that the nanny was worried the kids had eaten something that they should not have eaten. When Scott and Marika arrived back to their house, they noticed their son's friend as having lost all the color from her face. Her eyes were sunken with dark circles under them, and the whites of her eyes as bloodshot, the lawsuit states, noting that their son looked sickly and lethargic. The two children were at a hospital for several hours, and the couple's son was intoxicated for over 30 hours, according to the lawsuit. According to the parents, school officials weren't fully transparent regarding the incident. All right, let me kick this off before I ask you guys what you think. First of all, we always know it's the cover up, not the crime. So if a school or a school district wasn't fully disclosing to parents, that's a real issue. Secondly, with these lawsuits, when everybody files against everybody, schools, school boards, bus driver, it typically to me represents just throwing mud at the wall to see what will stick. Personally, I want my school bus driver to be paying attention to the road. And I'm not entirely sure that the school bus driver should be responsible for looking at a package of candy to see if it was contained cannabis. And then the other thing is, it seems like they waited about a year to file this. I'm not exactly sure why, but these are two actors I had never heard of. So kudos on them for getting their name in the headlines. And then lastly, the edibles thing with kids is a real harm. And we've talked about that again and again on High at Nine News. It is a place where this age restricted product has the most likely chance of being consumed by people who are not intending to consume it. So we continue to see this as an issue. I wish that the article had included an indication as to whether the bag of candy that was left by another minor was a regulated product or something that had been acquired illicitly, because that would have been also helpful in our analysis. This is Yaro Kubrin, High at Nine News, Monday morning.
I
What do you
mean,
guys think?
I mean, Yarrow, I think the school district definitely has some culpability. I mean, if you think about it,
Yeah.
anytime you're a driver of a vehicle or you own a vehicle and they find drugs in the car, the onus is on the owner and or the driver, not necessarily the passengers. And unless the passengers claim it, it falls on the onerous of the driver. So I think these they might actually have a claim against this school board.
School is responsible for your kids when you hand them off to them.
That is
Yeah,
true.
no, and I get
Ultimately,
that.
yeah.
But when
And
you're a
at the
driver
same
of a
time,
car, no, you go, Mandy.
I was just say, I mean, what is the school bus driver's duty? Is it their responsibility to go through every backpack and every pocket as the child walks onto the bus?
Oh, I don't think it's the bus driver's job to do that in the sense, but how laws are written and how justice is dealt out is basically along those lines.
It doesn't seem reasonable, you know? I mean, it's easy to point fingers and sling mud all over the place. Ultimately, these kids got high. They're not dead. They're not injured.
Mm-hmm.
But as a parent
Like,
myself,
what is the price tag that the school? I mean, I could see like if a child was, smashed in the door of a bus and their arm broke or something like that. Like that's reckless and careless. But this is something that's outside of the bus driver's hand, and at some point also the school doesn't go through each child's backpack. Also, was this edible in a Ziploc baggie? Was it in a packaged, sealed, child resistant, anything?
I'll
Whose
tell you.
fingerprints are on this
I'll
tin?
tell you
package?
one way. I'll tell you one way that this problem could be alleviated and it'll never happen again. Is if you make the kids, before they get on the bus, throw their backpacks underneath the lower compartment of the bus where they have the little storage area. And if all the kids have to throw their backpacks underneath there before they get on the bus, you're not going to have this happen.
I mean, they could have it in their pocket.
They could have it in their pocket, but I'm saying, like,
I think that's actually a very constructive, like, going forward, what do we do different to try to keep young kids safe? I think, Jason, the analogy around drivers being responsible for what's in their car fails the reasonable test, because a school bus driver is going to have 65 kids on, and then they're let
I
off
don't think
and
it
there's
does. I don't think it does, Yarrow, because time after time in every single court case that you see in every single state, the onus is on the driver. Now, granted, the city or county or school board's insurance would cover that driver in an instance like that. But
with a public transit, you
Would
can't
the
do that with a
parents
public
have
transit
sued?
driver. You get on the public bus, and there's somebody leaves something on a public bus.
I think you should be able to hold them liable.
Not to eat other people's stuff. Who just
Well,
picks up random candy on
so
a bus? And
you know
just
what?
starts
I grew
eating
up.
it?
We've talked about this on High and Nine News. I grew up in a household of carob. If I found some regular sugar, I probably would consider it, no matter what condition or where it was located.
Okay.
I mean, the thing
Okay,
separate
let's
from
say
the
that's-
lawsuit,
When you
I
say
feel bad for the
regular
parents.
sugar, can you elaborate on that?
Meaning I had like some carob and like. So, like, I didn't get enough sugar as a child because my parents were too healthy. So whenever I had the opportunity to eat sugar, I was definitely taking advantage of it. Even if it was a bag of candy that someone had left on the school bus, I probably would have snarbled it right down. I do feel sorry for these parents, and I do think it's a terrifying thing to not know what your children are going through. And so, separate from Mandy's point about no physical lasting harm, there is a terrifying incident. If they sue to get the school to do something different in terms of process and procedure that could protect the next kid or the next parents, I can understand that. But if it's really about the damages of the psychological process of worrying about whether their kid had ingested Drano or Ryacin or whatever, I'm not a big proponent of litigation as a way to get our way.
Also, let me just ask, like, if these kids had gotten on the bus and gotten a hold of like a thermos that had alcohol in it, would the parents have
Yep.
filed a lawsuit there too?
I'm sure they would have. I think they'd have just cause to.
Yep.
I mean, if the last thing I was known for was Grey's Anatomy, I'd be filing any lawsuits I could to just get in the.
Hey, that's a very fair point too, right there. Very, very, very fair point. Yeah,
I think they're just trying to get back in the media spotlight.
exactly.
Our
Just
lawsuit
remember me?
law, December 2023.
Yep. Remember this picture we took at this event? We can finally use it.
I mean, it is terrifying. It is terrifying, and edibles are a problem. And as a parent, I'm sure that this was not a happy moment for their family, and that their kid did have a truly negative experience. So, as much shit as I like to talk, I would be disingenuous if I didn't at least acknowledge that.
Fair enough.
It is concerning when you see your child not feeling well and you don't really know why. But once you get to the doctor, especially the ER, they're going to do a blood test right out of the gate. And it's, not that difficult to tell what's happened. Also, tell your kids not to eat random shit that doesn't belong to them.
Yarrow
Come
doesn't
on.
listen. We already went over that part. Yarrow doesn't listen.
Weird.
And we're never going to keep everybody 100% safe.
Yeah, it's very, very.
We're never
true.
going to keep kids at school 100% safe. There's always some jackass kid doing something. I know because it was me and my friends. Like, no matter how hard you try to enforce all the rules, etc., there's going to be people trying to game the system, have a little fun, bring some bottle rockets to school or whatnot.
Always. And while I
But
do think that you made a decent suggestion, Jason, with the backpacks under the bus, I also feel like, nah, we shouldn't be having to do that either. Like, not more rules. Not more rules.
I mean, they
the
couldn't-
thing
they-
the thing is that you give the school custody of your children.
Yep.
Like the school are
Exactly.
they are the adults that are responsible for your children, and so legally there it is. They are
Yeah,
the
legally, they're
responsible adults. It's same
responsible.
if you dropped them off. Yeah, same if you dropped them off anywhere else and
if
anything
you dropped
happened
them
to
off
them.
at daycare and one of the kids had the thing at daycare, you're going to sue the daycare. Same thing.